Ladies and gentlemen, let's all stand up and give a thunderous round of applause to welcome the legendary Dr. Ma'am, I welcome you. Big round of applause once again.
Please be comfortable. I had gone into the learning mode and the listening mode. So I'm going to take a little time because I was thoroughly enjoying what you were learning. First of all, congratulations for coming all the way to learn because life is all about learning. And it's never late. It's never late to learn at any stage of your life. The fact that you want to grow, you want to be better than yesterday, that is exemplifying that you're here. And I'm glad that we have coaches like her, that Radhika, that she's giving you her experience and her new learnings every day. And she also learns from your feedback. And a young woman like her. I've come across you today. For the first time, I've come across, I travel, I get through these, but normally there are people who reach their level of pinnacle or maybe saturation. She's right in the middle and she's willing to learn and give. So congratulations to all of you that you made it. And she's right. India's future lies in leadership now. Absolutely, she's right. India's future lies in leadership. And you see the Prime Minister's last, one of these, since I worked very closely with him means under all his ideas as Lieutenant Governor in Pondicherry, how he was inspiring us, sending the central social responsibilities and centrally sponsored schemes, and how he created a group called Gati Shakti. You know Gati Shakti? Gati Shakti is where he brought departments together. He brought CXOs together. India's future lies in collaboration. India's future lies in coalitions. And what he did, he brought collaboration and coalition of CXOs and made them work together, think together, and deliver together, and execute together. And all those red tapes so this is also needed in the private sector. I'm sure Radhika will come to a stage where CXOs get together at different levels. I'll show you some of those. While I saw what he did, I was instinctively doing on my own at my level. So let me quickly go through this. It's 10 o'clock now, we finish at 11. What time? Oh, no, we have half an hour. So what I'll do is it's a half an hour. I quickly go through the big foundation, then I'll come to some of the incidents from my life. And I also want to leave a few minutes for the Q&A. So it will be a fast presentation because we have strictly half an hour. I think you've already seen this. And I have this for you. But you've already seen in the big wins. You see, I also believe, and you also need to go back, leadership began very early. Leadership began when you were boys and girls. What happens is we start thinking, school पढ़ लो, ठीक पढ़ लो. We are not understanding कि छोटी-छोटी बात में leadership होती है. When I was cycling all the time, I was fighting with the boys. I was in a track suit. I was leading my own way. And there was nobody other girl in Amritsar who was doing this. I was leading the rest of the society without knowing I'm leading. But I wanted to do it differently because I didn't want to be one of those many which I saw happening in the society. So, first of all, we need to, now you are also sitting as parents. Please understand that how you groom your children are the leaders of tomorrow. These courses will add, it's like a crowning glory. But beginning foundations are very, very important. So, in the Indian Police Service, I was not taught leadership. I was taught skills. I was taught the law. I was taught forensics. I was taught to investigate. I was taught to parade and fire, etc. But not leadership. But the service itself is leadership. We had come hardwired already, all of us colleagues. But we were all different. Same class, but responses were very different. Why? Because our backgrounds were different, how we led our lives as students. So now quickly go through the foundation and the preparation. Leadership is through sports. Now this is as parents, but if you've gone through sports, go play. That's practical leadership. Find a time to play. If you played as a child, you got extra qualities. You got sportsman spirit. You will play by the rules. You'll be fairer by nature. You'll also be a team player because you learned it very early. So leadership through sports is very, very critical. You've already seen. Leadership through academics, you've already seen because, again, you want to top and do better. The teacher is the same. Why are you topping? Why aren't others? Because you're putting that extra mile. So these are, choice of service was this. It had a natural situation. It took me naturally from wherever I was to now not maybe professions which were available, but something different, something which would impact the universe, something which would impact the society. The purpose was higher. That's how this became a leadership of a profession of choice. And then it was leading from front. I had a choice to cop out of this. When do you take a challenge? See, there's a little difference now, subtle difference between private sector and the government sector. Here, I could cop out. Here, you would be given the task. Here, your boss will say, karo, nahi to maro. Say, karo, nahi to maro, nahi to jao. Here, main nahi karu to koi farak nahi padta. Because there was a substitute available. And I could have said, and the reason is very simple. I was not being chosen to lead the parade in 1975. And I was the only woman in the Indian Police Service at that time, the only batch, only candidate. Only candidate at that time. And my IG chose a man. I was I was most eligible. I was right in the top of the lead. And my IG chose a man who's my junior. My batchmate, but junior in rank. And I heard that a boy is being chosen. My colleague is being chosen. I went to him. And this meant every day walking 20 kilometers a day practice with boots on, uniforms on, and in the peak of the winter of Delhi in the 70s. 70s winter was winter. Now there's no winter. And he said another person was being chosen. And I went to him. I said, I hear that you have chosen somebody else is leading the parade, but the precedent is that the senior most probationer leads. He said, yes, I made him agree. Yes, there's a precedent. I said, sir, in that precedent, I'm the one. I'm the one, sir. Why am I not being chosen? Then he asked me, will you be able to do it? And I said, sir, how long will I keep answering? Because I finished my training. The point here is sometimes opportunities come your way. You cop out. You don't take the gauntlet. I went to him, and it meant a lot. I was only 22 years at that time, 23. I had finished my training. And I took it. And do you know what this meant? The highest risk of my life. But this became the highest achievement of my life because it worked out. So when opportunities come your way, you must take it and then prepare for it. And then, of course, the preparation. So this is history. This was history created in 1975. Do you know, after 49 years, last year, was this history repeated on the Delhi parade when another woman led the parade? Took 49 years, but was set in 1975. Again, nature comes your way. This was the year of the woman. When I joined and I led the parade, it caught the imagination of the entire country and even the universe, because the United Nations declared 1975 the year of the woman thereafter. And this is what happened. So sometimes you take on, but nature also conspires to catapult you. So please see the signs of nature coming in. So innovative ideas. I have always now, why am I a product? I'm a total product of innovative ideas. Do you know how I generate ideas? How I generated ideas from my service starting at the age of 23, 24, when I got my first assignment as the the city commissioner at that time, the area unit commit. How? At the age of 23, 24, I have read the law. I've learned the skills of investigation, etc. But I'm not experienced. And in many, many areas, experience is very, very valuable. Where did I get it? Which my colleagues did not. They were very hierarchical in their nature. I was very collaborative by nature. And a woman is by nature collaborative. It's my inherent biology. I am collaborative by nature. And also it was my very unique way of living together because the family was very collaborative. How do? I went to police station every morning. Go on the site, field work. Go on site, learn from your juniors. Sit with your juniors. Lunch with your juniors. Chat with your juniors and learn from them. And then make them friends. My innovative ideas came from all of them, all being on the ground. So at the age of first assignment, I knew the only way of learning was not my seniors. मेरी training खत्म होगी. Seniors के पास मुझे time ही नहीं मुझे पढ़ाने के सिखाने के लिए. वो मुझे कहेंगे करना करो मत करो because there's a secure job now. But मुझे कैसे काम करना है? Am I going to be like the million others? Or am I going to hear for the purpose for which I come? It was change. Where did I pick up my ideas? Listening to my juniors. Every morning, I would leave early and be with my juniors at one unit or the other and chat with them, observe them, listen to them, and be with them. Now, this is an interesting idea which if you see, this red, what is this? This is a prison. While I'm Inspector General Prisons, how do the prisoners talk to me? They can't get email, but I want to know what's happening. How do I find out way? How do I find a way out so that I get to know what's happening in a closed institution like 10,000 prisoners? And so much is always brewing, and officers will not tell me. Prisoners will not complain. It's a block of information. But if I do not know as Inspector General Prison what's going on, how will I prevent crisis? How will I take it towards greater progress? What I did, I created this petition box. Nowhere in the world something like this happens. Prisoners had a letter box in their hands, and this person would take this box barrack to barrack, telling prisoners, चिट्ठी लिखो मैडम को, कुछ भी खराब है चिट्ठी लिखो. And I used to also tell them in the assemblies, write to me. आपको कोई शिकायत है ना, आपको मैं बॉक्स दे रही हूँ, anonymously, चिट्ठी लिखो, चाबी सिर्फ मेरे पास है. और अब नहीं आप लिखोगे तो मुझे शिकायत मत करना कि ये हो रहा था. I put the ball in the court of the consumer. And I said, you will write to me and tell me what is not right. And I would remind them it was a communication box. So this is what I did. Why did I come up? It was a solution to a problem. And what was the problem? Mass corruption, mass violence, mass drug abuse inside the prison. And I'm here as Inspector General, the first woman probably in the international community of prisons. But I wanted to prevent, I wanted to cure. So I created this box. And the lock, it's a lock. The key is only with me. How do you get these ideas? By being on the ground, by being sensitive to your work. So whether as Radhika said, whether you're a CXO or not, you are a CXO in any position you are in, because you're a leader. In any unit you hold. You may hold a bigger unit, you may hold a smaller unit, but you are a CXO. Unless you feel you are a CXO wherever you are, you will not innovate. You will not deliver. So this is how I used to open this box at night, in the evening before leaving, turn it around, and I had one petition officer whom I could trust. Only he and I would open up all the letters which came. I exactly knew what was going on with my consumer, which was my prisoner. And they would write to me whatever was happening inside a barrack, and nobody's name was disclosed. So I'm looking at innovative ideas. Ideas come in only as a leader when you're closest to your consumer and your peers, not particularly your juniors. Peers are competitive, but juniors are not competitive. By and large, juniors are not. They're looking for your leadership. They're looking for your support. They're looking for your mentorship. They're looking for your guidance. They're looking for your recognition. They're looking for your appreciation. So another thing was this, where I brought another innovation was the beatbox, where I took the beatbox to the ground. The picture is not so good. But I opened 160 beatboxes at every neighborhood. Imagine if Bombay, Bangalore, Pune, etc., where you are all from, and you have a neighborhood police box, where the policeman sits, and it's a police station. Supposing you go to that box, you have a complaint. You don't go all the way to a police station. You go only to the beat box. You make a complaint, and he records it, and he transmits it to the police station concerned, and he tells you what's your number. Your police station is at your neighborhood. I created these beat boxes in 1982. 1980, 81, 82. Boxes where the neighbor, and who constructed them? The market associations. That was called resource generation. So this is all collaborative policing, where I told them. And why did I do it? Because I saw my beat officer sitting on others' charpais, sitting somewhere else for his lunch. I said, no, he needs a box of his own. He needs an office of his own, and he's a neighborhood police officer. So neighborhood police officer got a neighborhood office where he would sit for a few hours every day, connect with the people. This was the box system I created. So all this came because solutions were required, because I was so close to the ground. Being closer to the ground now, technology enables, but nothing substitutes the person. So generating resources is another. That's another box, as I told you. This is a traffic box. You make a complaint right here, and see the man is sitting right here for a few hours. And I'm also informing them what this is about. And this is, of course, the crane. When the cranes came in, I think that's a story you all probably are aware, that before the cranes, the boxes came and many other things. But do you know how the cranes came? Do you know the story of the cranes? I'll give you the story. You only know that Prime Minister's car was challaned. But you do not know what went behind it. You do not know. And I think she was asked, you were asking me, Radhika? Somebody was asking me this. No, somebody is asking who came to pick me up from. You were asking me. He asked me while we were both driving to the airport. And I told him, when I took charge, that was 1982, at the year of the Asian Games, with no money. So he said, Kiran ko lagao. So they posted me. And I said, sir, mujhe to Delhi ke roads bhi nahi aate. I started from a scratch. I used to be on a scooter and go round and round in India Gate. Go round and round in Connaught Place, not knowing kaun sa road lu. I was an outsider from Delhi, from Amritsar. I did not know Delhi. And he posts me. Sometimes this happens where you are given a charge and you're not aware. How do you do? 5 a.m, get up, finished all my paperwork, put my letters, answers into dictaphone. Those days there was a little Sony small dictaphone. I would finish it all dictaphone, letter 1, letter 2, letter 3, all correspondence cleared. And at 8 a.m, I would be out on the roads, driving down the city of Delhi, sitting with a map on the back seat and telling him, आज मुझे Greater Kailash ले जाओ, आज मुझे South Extension ले जाओ, आज मुझे गाजियाबाद border ले जाओ, आज मुझे सदर बाजार ले जाओ, आज मुझे India Gate ले जाओ. रोज पीछे मैप देखती थी साथ-साथ ये कहाँ ले जा रहा मुझे. And I would learn my roads. Within 2 months, I knew my roads more than anybody else. Only by being 8 a.m. That's called the extra discomfort, out of the comfort zone every morning. Every morning out of the comfort zone. And because it was my charge, I could have said, mujhe nahi aata, thoda sa ho gaya to ho gaya. No way. But where did the cranes come? Because everywhere there was a broken down bus, etc. And we would be pushing because I wanted the flow of traffic. And then I asked the driver, crane कहाँ से आएंगी? ये कौन से खत्म होगा? ये मैम crane से. I said, सरकारी crane? बोले है नहीं crane. 2 ही crane है, एक खराब है, एक गाड़ी वहाँ पड़ी है लाइन में. तो I said, फिर सारी दिल्ली को तो crane चाहिए, कभी इधर बस, कभी उधर truck. If I would wait for the government, it would not have happened. What did I do? I summoned all private cranes of the city, called a meeting of the private cranes. I said, let's strike a win-win situation. And what's your win-win? He said, ma'am, हमें चलान का, हम जो गाड़ी उठाएं हमें पैसे दे दो और आपने जो करना कर लो. I said, ठीक. I said, हम चलान करेंगे और आप पैसे लेंगे और मेरा चलान पुलिस गवर्नमेंट को जाएगा, तुम्हारा चलान तुमको जाएगा. तुम अपनी रसीद दोगे, हम अपनी रसीद देंगे, लेकिन गाड़ी वही उठाओगे जो हम कहेंगे. ये नहीं तुम बिजनेस चलाने लग जाओ. So the point here is you can raise your resources. I'm only giving you one of them. I think Radhika is going to distribute a book called, she's going to distribute a book. It will give you lots more, the fearless governance. You will get lots of ideas how I handled Pondicherry. Lots of ideas. Pick up that book. I'm so thrilled that she's picked up. So it's all about resource generation. How I made Pondicherry going dry and becoming water rich. That's another chapter in the book, how I raised resources from no government. You see, you people can generate resources. You have the budgets. In government, when we are government servants, we can be told we don't have the money, do whatever you want. Now, do whatever you want, you fail. But if you don't want to be failing, you do something else. You generate resources. And this is how cranes were generated, and Prime Minister's car was also towed away. This is standing for the right. So also standing for the right, where the Prime Minister's car was towed away. Had this newspaper clipping not been with me, I would have probably said, ye to bana rahi hai, nahi hui thi. Fortunately, the newspaper clipping fortune. And saving documentation is important. So here is the transformative leadership. This, I talked about the prisons. You see, there were no resources here. Here. Every prisoner went to school. Which are these books? They're not bought. All old used school books. I asked from the Delhi schools, कि मुझे donate कर दो. All used school books. And they were given to class-wise who's illiterate or illiterate. Now why? These are solutions providing. What am I here for? My purpose was to transform an institution which is a holding institution to a transformative institution, to an ashram. So I gave them a first purpose saying, तुम जेल नहीं हो, तुम आश्रम में हो. तो जब मैं कह दूं हिंदुस्तानी को तुम आश्रम में हो, means कोई नशा नहीं होगा, कोई indiscipline नहीं होगा, समय से उठोगे, cleanliness होगी. Ashram in India means the following. So I had to use just one word, ashram, the key word. So everybody went to school for 2 hours. 10,000 prisoners' friends all had a school bag. All was donated by the books, etc. So this is what you see. And then as it's a mindset. It's a mindset. And I've got another 2 minutes to finish because I want some Q&A. So you see, even in policing, I took meditation. Prisons, we took meditation to convert to change, address the mindset. Because that was also my duty. And the challenges. And I faced some interesting challenges where, unfortunately, the male colleagues copped out. भाग गए वो. और उनके तस्वीरें अलग है, वो मैं कभी नहीं दिखाती. And now it's Pondicherry, where this gentleman, the chief minister of Pondicherry, till 4 years ago, gerawed my entire lieutenant governor house. They gerawed it because the money was not being swindled. Money was not getting allowed to be swindled. And see, this was our Rajanivas where I was staying. They're outside Rajwa with black shirts. These are all the challenges which he gave. So it's not hunky-dory, but lots happened. Reading and documentation is very important for all of you. Must read on your own as a habit. And keep your notes documenting. You can revisit them. Otherwise, you will never know what happened. Or maybe call the journal of yours. So journal writing, I'm sure Radhika will come to those. But writing your journal, keeping your notes, and reading as a habit is important. And this is the book she's going to give you very soon. And she asked you, what is your retirement? Do you know I had a retirement plan? At the age of 30 or 40, 35, 40, I founded a foundation with the colleagues of mine to reach out to the poor. Violence Service is one of the first foundation ever in the country by serving officers who set up a foundation. At the age of today, it's reaching out thousands and thousands. It gives me a higher purpose in life. So always remember, associate yourself with a cause. Some cause on you never know when it comes back to you. After retirement, you can dedicate your lives to it. So there is a reason of giving. See my giving? It started here. This was set up, then this was set up after the Magsaysay Award, and this was set up while in COVID, starting online. So this is how it is working. It's all about. So these are your key practices which I want to say. You have talked about focus. Staying focused, you talked about 5 key principles. Second is constant self-evaluation. Constant, means sitting on your own. Where are you going? What are you doing? Third is, this is the constant evaluation. Third is walking the work. All the time walk the work. Connect, as much connect, listen to people. Walking the work. Fourth is the feedback box I already told you. Look for feedbacks. And then the power of listening, I've already told you. Never let monotony set in. Try and find out a routine. That's playing games or etc. Don't let monotony, see how I do? I break my monotony like this. This is what I did as Lieutenant Governor Pondicherry. And then learning to lead. This is what I do now. So live up to the trust. I gave them a T mantra. It's living up to the trust. Lead the change with all on board. This is a leadership model which I have always practiced. Start from the beginning is here. I always became here, whether the unit was small. So be here. You want to be a CXO? Prepare to break hierarchies. Prepare. That is the way. Don't be here. There should be an open door for you. Anybody to meet you in person or send you an email, welcome that, acknowledge that mail, listen to that idea. Be non-hierarchical is the key to be a CXO. I'm always here, and that is how it enabled me in so many things. And gratitude is important. This is my 2 foundations. Always find a way, who can you help? Whatever age, doesn't matter. Your time, your money, your resource, your thoughts, your ideas. This is what I do in the prison. I run these playway schools inside my prisons. I run a skills academy with the help of Dell Technologies and many others. We run a skills academy for the poorest of the poor. I'm giving you some quick samples. So do what you can with what you have, where you are, to be a CXO. So these are my 5 points from my life straight away, besides what you're going to learn lots more. I thought you could take away these. Focus, self-evaluation, don't let monotony set in, be trustworthy, and remain grateful. Once you do this, you will be a CXO. Nothing will stop you from doing this if you follow these habits. So friends, thank you so much. You got 10 minutes to speak. You got 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. When Radhika invited me, thank you. When Radhika invited, she asked me yesterday over dinner, why did you accept my invitation the moment she sent a message or a WhatsApp? I said, because I live this. I thought, why don't I share my life with you? These are simple, but they can be practiced. So that's why I told her, my answer was because the word leadership, how just as she's giving to you back through her experiences of her life, and she also realized at some stage it's time to give, it's time to coach, it's time to mentor, it's time to help improve, help them break the barriers. I also have the same feeling. I also learned the hard way. Why don't I also keep giving? It's a matter of gratitude. Thank you. So you got another maximum 10, 15 minutes as she would permit.
We'll have the questions now from the audience.
Firstly, ma'am, it's an honor to listen to you, and hopefully we'll get a picture also with you. So my name is Anupama. I run a diversity and inclusion consultancy. And besides that, I work very closely with the transgender community. Okay, and I mean, though it's not a parallel, but I just wanted to check. You spoke about mindset. So when you work with the prisoners and you work you still run this organization where you're rehabilitating prisoners, bringing them back into society. How do you, while you're changing their mindset, how do you change the mindset of society? Like, how do you get the society to, accept and what's being done on that?
First, on the transgender community. Do you know where they can be best at? Transgender community. I've been propagating this for them. Not at clapping and begging.
Absolutely not.
Do you
I
know-
place them in companies actually today.
Okay. Do you
And
know
still
they make excellent security guards?
Yes, yes.
You can recruit them as security guards because they got the strength of the man, the height of the man, the muscle of the man, and also the heart of a woman. So I think they can make a very good. So we can make them security guards. Second is even drivers. They can be very good drivers. So they should not be wasted. Encourage them to become security guards and drivers, and you'll never have anybody at the nuisance on the traffic lights. So that means from the childhood itself, if you can groom them, कि हमको काम करना है, क्या काम करना है? Drivers की आज बहुत कमी है, बहुत कमी है, and you need that strength and endurance. So try that. Now, how do you change society? By just your own performance.
No, so I meant like when you bring prisoners back into, like you're getting them back into the society, how did you have to work anything on changing mindset of the society also?
Yes, of course. You're right. I didn't expect the society to immediately accept them. So I prepared them for a release. Our program was, do not go home to say, मैं पढ़ के आया, मैं meditation करके आया, देखो मैं कितना अच्छा आया, अच्छा हूँ. बोले को कहेंगे साबित करो. तो तुमने अगले 3-4 महीने साबित करना है कि तुम बदल के आए हो. So we prepared them, do not accept acceptance right from day one, so that you don't get disappointed. And that is, and second thing is, I was also preparing the society by constantly communicating with the media on the reforms inside the prison. So society was hearing, and they were to come and show. So I was preparing them, but you had to go and prove them. So I was doing both ways.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll take the next question from here. The lady in blue.
Radhika will stop whenever you say. Yeah, okay.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for being here. You're truly inspirational. My question to you, ma'am, is with all these challenges, since such a young age, how did you take care of your physical security, safety, as well as the mental pressure or the torture, that would come across, because you had to raise your voice against a lot of bureaucracy, I'm sure. Especially, being a woman, and you were the first woman who have brought in so many changes at that young age. So how did you manage both the physical challenges as well as the mental challenges?
Physical challenge was not a challenge.
Okay.
I was never alone.
Okay.
I had always a driver or a wireless operator, by and large. I always had somebody with me. So I was never alone. I never took that chance of letting myself be attacked that way. Even if I would probably be leading, I had people following me.
Okay.
See? So therefore, that happens in the armed forces. The leader is never left alone.
Okay.
Leaders, far too many good followers and very loyal followers. I had very loyal support followers. Second was,
The mental pressure and the challenges,
listen,
dealing with-
I knew that there were outdated mindsets there.
Right.
I knew. So I gave them the concession and gave them the space to change and give them the choice, change or your problem, not mine. I will not change because you want me to change.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm truly inspired. Very honored to hear your address. My doubt is, as a woman, we are expected to show the number, be nice.
As a woman, you are to
Show the numbers, but be nice.
show the
Numbers, the
Numbers.
performance. Yeah, show the numbers, show the performances.
performance.
Correct. But still be nice. So how do you manage being?
No, you can be nice, nahi, you can be effective.
That is my question. You are expected to be nice and effective. How do you really balance?
Nice is being dignified. Nice is being kind. Nice is being empathetic. Nice is being compassionate. Nice is being honest. This is what nice is about. Nice is being dressed decently. I think that's being nice. Nice is giving. Nice is grooming others. Nice is having a bigger heart for others. This is nice. That all of this be all this, then she's a nice person. Being trustworthy is being a nice person. Being giving is a nice person. Being helpful is a nice person. ये nice में छोटी बात नहीं है. Nice में बहुत कुछ है. So all this if you do, and then working hard. Very nice, hardworking, but very nice. Very good boss. Recognizing your junior is being nice. Never gossiping is being nice. Never tell-taling is being nice. Never complaining is being nice. Yeah. So expand and redefine nice.
Great. Awesome.
Bas?
One last question, ma'am.
Okay. Where are you?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm retired Commander Joseph, ma'am. Right now into a corporate job. Ma'am, my question is that because I worked in government sector or in the armed forces, the most difficult part which I felt was the system is very rigid. You try to change it, it is like hitting the wall. But it was very difficult. But I have seen you have done so many changes the way the government servant has to work. Ma'am, my question is that how was it you were able to succeed in that? And second is how you were able to convince them to get this thing done, because it was a big nightmare for me and I tried my level best, but many of the time I was hitting the wall and very few successes I was able to change.
You have to read this book which has been given to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was all hitting the wall, and how I punctured it all the time. Read that book, that will be very helpful for you. You will have a better answer than by short answer. So be fearless.
Thank you, ma'am.
But you most of all, before you ask me to wind up, secure your homes. Your family is most important for you. The strength of all my work and the secret of my fitness and good health and my peace of mind was my home. Make your home a fort of peace, harmony, collaboration, giving, love, respect. Whether they're elders with you, whether they're children with you, and pay attention to your home. Correct it early on. Home is your strength. You cannot be a successful CSOs with a home in conflict. And find the solutions. So please, secret of my strength were my parents. So if you have parents with you, men or women, doesn't matter. Please respect them. They are your source of strength. So give them the full attention, respect and regards and care. Care where they need you. Don't abandon them. Don't ignore them. Have meals with them. Meet their needs. Accept certain eccentricities of they are the most valuable asset. And of course, keep them busy. If you keep them busy, you have clubs around, etc. Keep them busy. They need to be busy also. So give them the due regard and respect. Your home is your strength. You want to be good CXO, successful, happy, and go to a happy home, you need a happy home. So do all that, sharing. Don't be miserly in spending at home. Give lots of good gifts and presents to your elders, etc. Be good family. It could be brothers and sisters as well.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I have goosebumps all over. Now, I am really tempted to ask, how's the Yash? How's the Yash? How's the Yash? Ma'am, thank you so much. It has been an incredible journey of yours. Please. On behalf of CXO community, CXO Incubator, it's my pleasure and an honor to thank Dr. Kiran Bedi. Ma'am, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Kiran Bedi for her inspiring and thought-provoking keynote address today. Dr. Bedi's remarkable journey in dedication to public service, commitment to justice, and relentless pursuit of excellence, serve as a beacon of hope and a model for all of us. Her insights today have not only enlightened us, but also challenged us to think more deeply about our roles in creating a better society. The wisdom and experiences shared by Dr. Bedi will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on all of us. The most important of all that I liked is the 5 leadership ideas that she mentioned, and the last statement of taking care of our home and our elders. Ma'am, I am indebted to you. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Bedi for taking the time to share her invaluable perspectives with us. Your words have truly motivated us to strive for greater heights. We are deeply grateful to you for your presence and for enriching this event with your valuable insights. Thank you, and I request all of you to please give one more round of applause, please. Thank you.
That's very innovative. Taking ownership for it.
I request Radhika to present a memento to Dr. Bedi, please.
Everyone has a book, and we'll all hold the book and show it. Show it to ma'am, and that way we can have a longish group picture.